dive into this story about the Yemen Houthi pirate that has gone somewhat viral. I would say he had an interview recently with Hassan Piker, but also Tim Dillon had something to say about the Houthis. And, you know, Tim Dillon is a comedian. So in some parts of his discussion, it's hard to understand, like, is he joking? Is he being sarcastic? Or is he serious? And I want you to decide for yourself, because he's not feeling this at all. So we'll get into that discussion as well. But first, I want to show you what a Yemeni official has said in reference to the West. Because you see, they have some criticism for the West coming after Yemen, bombing Yemen. Let's start off with this.
It's a great honor for us that the sponsor and the founder of terrorism, which has killed countless people around the world and used its atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki and killed hundreds of thousands there, is the one that classified us as terrorists. But we represent the most honorable position from a moral and humanitarian standpoint. America's recent designation is in line with its support for the Israeli genocidal war against Palestinians in Gaza. We stand with Palestine and will not back down from this position.
So this is a Yemeni official, and basically he is criticizing the United States for calling another country terrorist when the U.S., you know, bombed Hiroshima and bombs countries all over the world. So he's basically telling the United States, you're the terrorist. Just like when we talk about in reference to Israel and Gaza, you know, everybody's so quick to call Hamas the enemy, they're the terrorists and all this, yada, yada. But for whatever reason, when it comes to Israel, we can't turn around and point the finger right back at Israel for the terrorism, the terror that they have caused against the Palestinian people since 1948. Because the reality is, Israel is in power. They are the ones that are in control. The Palestinian people are not in control. So I would say that people who have been imprisoned in an open air prison, they're encaged, cannot move about freely. People who are given dirty water, people who have the electricity cut off whenever Israel feels like it. That includes all the hospitals, which they have now bombed. I would say those people are the victims. They are the oppressed, and Israel has been the terror that has been terrorizing them. Now, as you know, the United States government has issued an all-out war on Yemen. They have already attacked Yemen. This is in reference to the Yemen Houthis that are basically keeping an eye out on the Red Sea. They're trying to block those ships that are coming from the United States to give more weapons to Israel, because they do not want Israel to continue to commit genocide. That's what this is really about. But all of a sudden, they're the terror. They haven't killed anyone. And you have the United States government bombing Yemen, a country that is already poverty-stricken, thanks to the U.S. government giving arms to Saudi Arabia to destroy the damn country in the first place. You have people that are starving in Yemen, and they are bombing this country. So now, all of a sudden, the Pentagon wants to pretend like we are not at war with Yemen. Listen to this clip here, because you see, they really think that we're fools. They really do. After Joe Biden has already declared we are at war with Yemen, we are going after the Yemen Houthis, and they've already bombed Yemen using Saudi airspace, by the way. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to say the opposite. Listen to this. They're really trying to play us for a fool.
Hey, Sabrina, is it now fair to say that the U.S. is at war in Yemen? And secondly, there are some reports about a U.S. MQ-9 being shot down over Iraq by Iranian-backed militia. Is that something you're tracking?
Thanks, Idris. I'll take the last one first. I have seen those reports. I don't have anything for you on that. So I'd have to circle back with you. I've seen those reports, but don't have anything to add.
So this is the Pentagon. This is the Pentagon. All of a sudden, the Pentagon doesn't know that the US government has bombed Yemen? How do they not know this? Mainstream media knows this. Everybody has covered the story. But here we have the Pentagon. I don't know anything about that. Really? Have you been under a rock? Let's continue.
In terms of your first question, no, we don't seek war. We don't think that we are at war. We don't want to see a regional war. The Houthis are the ones that continue to launch cruise missiles, anti-ship missiles at innocent mariners, at commercial vessels that are just transiting an area that sees, 10 to 15% of the world's commerce.
That are just transporting bombs to continue genocide. Again, I want to add, the Houthis have not killed anyone. Let me ask you guys a question. If there were weapons being shipped into your backyard, let's pretend you live on the coast, and there were weapons coming in from another country being shipped into your backyard on your waters to kill people in your region, would you be okay with that? This is why sometimes we have to put ourselves in their shoes. I wouldn't be okay with that. I don't think you would be okay with that. So what other country, what better country to stand up and push back than Yemen after they have lost almost everything? Yemen is unlivable. Have you seen pictures of Yemen recently? This country has been destroyed. What the Houthis are trying to do, they are trying to prevent what happened to Yemen to happen to Gaza. Because I don't see anybody trying to rebuild Yemen, okay? With all these talks at the World Economic Forum, with people like Zelensky saying, you're going to help us rebuild Ukraine, and you're going to help us defeat Russia. I don't see anybody trying to rebuild Yemen. Anybody trying to rebuild Afghanistan? Don't think so. Who's trying to rebuild Syria? Okay, think about that.
The U.S. is what we are doing with our partners is self-defense. We certainly don't want to see this widen out to a regional war, and we don't want to see this continue, which is why you have seen the action that we've taken. And as the Secretary has stated before, we will continue to take that action if we need to.
Notice how whenever the United States strikes another country, the narrative is we are in defense. We're defending ourselves. Have you guys ever noticed that? Like, they really want us to believe that the US government has never escalated situations or provoked situations. The US government has never started any conflict abroad. Most of the time, we're the instigator. But this is what they want us to believe.
Just to follow up on Idris's question, you said that we are not at war with the Houthis, but if this tit for tat bombing, we bombed them 5 times now. So if this isn't war, can you just explain that a little bit more to us? If this isn't war, what is war?
Sure, Laura. Sure. Great question. Just wasn't expecting it phrased exactly that way.
Let me pause. The president of the United States declared it as war. Remember the statement that was released from Joe Biden from the White House? I read it on the show. Now, all of a sudden, the Pentagon is saying the exact opposite. That was a great question. The journalist who asked that question, we've bombed them 5 times already. Is that not considered war? Does it have to be 10 times, 20 times? The president already declared war. I don't know this woman. I'm not familiar with this woman who's speaking on behalf of the Pentagon, but I don't think she really knows what she's talking about either.
Look, we do not seek war. We are not at war with the Houthis. In terms of a definition, I think that would be more of a clear declaration from the United States. But again, what we are doing and the actions that we are taking are defensive in nature.
This goes to show you the communication breakdown between the White House and the Pentagon. Now, I just want to remind everybody that our defense budget is over $800 billion. And the Pentagon and the White House, they can't even get on the same page in reference to communication. You got the White House saying we're at war with Yemen. You got the Pentagon saying, no, there's no war. It's just defense in nature. $800 billion for a defense budget, and she don't even know if we're at war. The rest of us know we are. How much is her salary? I wonder.
I would turn back to the fact that there have been over 30 attacks by Houthis on 50 different nations that are transiting the Red Sea at this time. I can only repeat so many times that we do not seek war with the Houthis, but we will take self-defense actions if we need to protect our troops, to protect commercial shipping, and to...
Let's pause here for a second. Lance said, I guess he was responding to not me. I was literally just typing the same thing. They found a brown propagandist. Exactly. You guys noticed that? Look who they chose to come speak out on behalf of the U.S., defend the U.S. actions against Yemen. You see, this is on purpose. Now, I want you to pay close attention to something that she said, because she kind of reveals herself here. Listen to this.
The different nations that are transiting the Red Sea at this time. I can only repeat so many times that we do not seek war with the Houthis, but we will take self-defense actions if we need to protect our troops.
To protect our troops. The Houthis haven't killed anyone. It's not about protecting any troops. It's about protecting capital. That's what it's about. Listen to this.
To protect commercial shipping and to ensure that freedom of navigation is still allowed through international waterways.
Freedom of navigation to kill people. Her name's Sabrina. How dare you share my name? How dare you share my name, woman? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. So this is important because obviously the media has already got the narrative out that the U.S. is attacking Yemen, etc. And the narrative from mainstream media, again, even with this particular situation, is also backfiring the same way the Israeli narrative backfired in mainstream media in reference to the war in Gaza. Because you see, one of the Houthi pirates actually went viral. Like, this guy's everywhere. This guy is everywhere. And I have to tell you, when I first saw the video, I was like, who is that guy? That guy is absolutely beautiful. Like, seriously. And to me, it's just like, when I saw the video and everything, I didn't see, the United States like, these are dangerous, evil people. Really? Let's see. Let's get into the Yemeni pirate who went viral, because this is the guy that Tim Dillon has a problem with. Listen to this. So this is the video. Let me come back here. This is the video that really made, I guess, the women like lose it. Because the women were like, oh my God, this guy is absolutely beautiful. Now, when I saw this video, I thought to myself, this looks like it could be like a cologne ad. That's literally what I don't know. Pirate du toilette? Is that what they call it? A du toilette? Pirate de toilette? I'm like, is this a cologne commercial? Let's continue. Trying to get past the music part here. So he is being compared to Timothy Chalamet. Now, I was not really familiar with who this dude was, so I had to look this up, and I was like, oh, I've seen that guy in movies before. I just didn't know his name. But they're comparing him to Timothy Chalamet. I actually don't think he looks like Timothy Chalamet. I'm just keeping it real. But that's who they're comparing him to. And I'm just going to scoot it up a little bit here. So you'll see it says Rashad documented how Houthis are hijacking ships. But again, like I said, they haven't killed anyone. And that was on the Instagram page. And so Hassan Piker actually interviewed him recently. So it says that he has urged his followers to not focus on his looks. And this is true. There was a girl, I should have bookmarked that tweet. There was a girl that tweeted a DM that his DMs are open. I would tell Rashid to close his DMs. She tweeted DM to him or DM'd him basically saying that she would have his babies and all this crazy stuff. And his response was no sex. That was his response. So he's telling people not to focus on that, to focus on, you know, the actions instead. And I'll just scoot up a little bit here because a lot of it's, yeah. So he has 27,000 followers on Instagram. It's actually more than 10,000 on X now. It continues to go up each day. But this is the guy that all the girls like fell in love with just instantly. Right, trauma queen. He does not want to be sexualized. Exactly. Exactly. Well said. Now, let's get to the part that seemed to upset Timothy or Tim Dillon, because Tim Dillon is not happy about this at all. He feels like this is not something that people should be applauding here. So I want you to hear what Tim Dillon has to say about the Houthi pirate that has gone pretty viral here. So let me pause it for just a second because he talks about the other thing. And I want you to tell me whether or not you think that he is being sarcastic, or do you think he's being serious? I think there are some parts where he's serious. So listen to this.
People are all up there into this Timothy Chalamet. They say he's a Houthi fighter. He's hot. They say it looks like Chalamet. Fighter with terrorists on hijacked ship banned from TikTok after going viral as hot Houthi pirate. Let him be hot on TikTok. He's going to die. We're going to kill him. Nobody's going to, you're not going to win against America. Stop. Stop.
So let's pause there for a second. When he says that he's going to die, you're not going to win against America. They've actually been pretty successful. That's the thing. They've been successful at stopping the ships without killing people. Right? I don't really think this is something to really joke about. Yes, I know Tim is a comedian, but the thing is, when you think about what has happened to Yemen, those people have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. If you see pictures of the destruction that Saudi Arabia has, what they've done to Yemen, starving children, we're talking about starving children in Gaza, children starving in Yemen as well. There's nothing left for those people in Yemen. They have nothing to lose. Now, some people will say, well, they have their life to lose if they're choosing to stop these ships. There's nothing left for them there in Yemen, though. That's the thing. That's the scariest thing. When you have nothing to lose, you are willing to go all out, because what is left at home for you? There's nothing. There's nothing. Let's continue.
A Houthi, the Yemeni pirates are going to win. Let him be hot for the last few minutes of his life. Let him be attractive. He is very attractive. I'm sure he's all death to America. That's not turning any of us off, by the way. People are going to flick their bean to you and jerk their cocks to you all night. You can fucking say death to America all you want. It doesn't matter. we are still going to fucking whack it to the idea of you fucking us on that boat. Now, does he say anything? Does he talk?
I think he might, but this is a video of it.
Is it Death to America?
No. You want to just watch this one?
Let's watch it. How great is it, by the way, that this is the way you turn these Yemeni fighters into gay sex symbols. That's how you win the war. Because they become too embarrassed to fight. Of course, there's only one good-looking. Many of them are probably a mess.
Yeah.
Let's see the rest of the video. By the way, it's like I'm not trying to be critical here, but like, is this what terrorism is now? Because like when I grew up, terrorism was actually like killing people. Like this is just you're hot on a boat. Is that what terrorism is now? You're just gonna be hot on a boat? Aren't like what? We're supposed to cringe when we see what you're doing. We're not supposed to start masturbating. When we watch a terror.
So that again just goes to show you about the propaganda in this country about when he says what terrorism is supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like. I think a lot of Americans, when they think about that, they think about like ISIS, right? They think about people being beheaded. That's also why I believe that the Israeli government decided to go with the story of the beheaded babies, and everybody in mainstream media picked that story up, even though nobody had any evidence or any proof. And then only to like a couple of days later have to retract that story. Some people like Piers Morgan are still repeating that lie, because for Americans, that's what a lot of people think about when they hear that word, right? This video that went viral of this pirate debunks that narrative. And that's why some people consider this to be so, they're like, oh no, this is incredibly dangerous, because this is changing the narrative. And this is showing people that who we are calling to be a terrorist could look like this. And this isn't what they want you to envision. They want you to actually picture someone like you guys saw. You remember the images of ISIS. They want you to picture someone like that. They don't want you to picture someone like this dude. And with everything else that's been coming out recently, with Osama bin Laden's letter coming back into the fold again, and all the TikTok videos of younger people actually reading his manifesto and finally saying, oh shit, now I get it. Don't condemn 9/11. I still don't think that was cool. That's still fucked up. But now that that letter had resurfaced again, by the way, The Guardian has removed it from their article. But that letter resurfaced again on TikTok, on social media. Now, younger people actually had the opportunity to read that letter, and they said, oh, so that's why that's why Osama bin Laden did what he did, because the US was destroying his people and his country. So again, they don't like that. The State Department doesn't like for that narrative to get out, and mainstream media doesn't like for that narrative to get out. So when this guy went viral, the State Department doesn't like that, because now younger people can see this and say, oh, that's who they're calling a terrorist, that guy. Let's continue.
Terrorist video when I was growing up, we'd be like, Jesus, fuck, oh my God, Daniel Pearl, any of that stuff. This video only makes me want to jerk my cock. That's not good terrorism. Terrorism is supposed to not make you want to flick your bean. It's supposed to make you very disgusted and scared and terrified. I am the opposite of scared when I see this. If this is what we're up against, twinks in the ocean, that's what we're up against. These people are so dead. They're so dead. We'll just bomb them with fucking fat people. One person that lives in Cleveland could take out that whole boat and crush this. Let's see the rest of this. Does he?
Let me pause here for just a second. What Tim doesn't seem to understand when he makes the statement, these people are so dead, he doesn't understand, or maybe he does know and he's just trying to be funny. But the thing is that there's nothing in Yemen. Nothing. This country has been destroyed. This country has been demolished. A lot of these people have lost an entire lifeline of families. There's nothing there. So when he says these people are dead, again, they have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose.
Say anything? Does he do anything?
I think it's just like a third strike.
Not even a death to America. He's doing a third strike. He's about to die. Well, nothing's like it used to be. I'm getting to that age now where I look at the world and I long for when things made sense. Jihadi Depp.
So again, it just goes to show you the perspective that a lot of times I think Americans have when we talk about who is considered to be a terrorist, etc. Now, he was actually interviewed by Hassan Piker. So I know some people are asking, like, can he speak or does he speak English? I want to go ahead and show you this. He was not speaking English in this video, but there was a translator that Hassan Piker did have. So I do want to show this really quick. Let me go ahead and put this up here. So far, and please correct me if you've seen something differently. I haven't. But so far, he's the only person I've seen that's interviewed him. So we'll go ahead and share this here.
Is that an organization?
No, One Piece is an anime.
Oh, okay. أول شيء بقول لك إنه ممكن هذا السؤال يكون شوي أهبل، بس بسألك تعرف شو هو ون بيس؟ عمرك سمعت بون بيس؟
أكيد يعني منذ الطفولة وأنا أشاهد ون بيس. لوفي.
Luffy?
Yeah, he said he's been watching it since he was a kid.
The whole way.
Yeah.
That's sick.
So that's interesting. Some of you may be aware of this. Like, I don't know how many of you watch anime, but apparently One Piece is like some form of anime. I'm not familiar with a lot of anime. I only know like probably the real popular ones. And my sisters told me some of these things. I watched like some of Cowboy Bebop, like that kind of stuff, but I never really got into it the way that some other people have. Like some people really get into anime, but apparently anyway, this guy, this is the pirate guy here. Apparently he watches One Piece.
Yes, that's fire. That's so fire. Oh my God, dude, we think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. You should tell him that.
بقول لك حسن إنه اللي الحوثيين عم بيسووه زي اللي لوفي اللي بيسويه لوفي.
يعني والله الصدق يعني احنا يعني اهم شيء ان احنا واقفين يعني مع فلسطين، يعني ما يهمنا يعني ون بيس او اي شيء، يعني احنا يعني السفن احتجزوها عشان.
Is that an organization?
No, One Piece is an anime.
So to answer you guys' questions, I know some people have been asking that. Does he talk? Yes, he talks. He doesn't speak English, but Hassan Piker did interview him. And I think this interview also went viral. Like it's all over the place. Again, guys, what this shows you is that the narrative from mainstream media is constantly being overturned. And I think that just drives a lot of people crazy. Like this is two things in a row. Two things in a row, right? So you have Israel, Gaza. Now you have the Yemen Houthis. And I think, the State Department and mainstream media expected Americans to become very fearful of what's happening in the Red Sea and to become fearful of the Houthi pirates. But that's not that doesn't seem to be happening from what I've seen. Again, I still think that a lot of our politicians still think that it's like 2003 or 2008. I don't think they're starting, or maybe they are now, but I don't think they really realize that, particularly a lot of the younger people, they're more likely to research this on their own to see if you're telling the truth about these groups of people. So things have definitely changed.